Colleagues, I am deeply honored to bring you Senate Concurrent Resolution 7 today, recognizing Dr. Alan Bates, a friend and colleague to many of us. I first met Alan in 2004 when he ran initially for the state Senate. The truth is, I didn't know much about him at the time, but friends of mine told him he was the candidate to work for it, so I signed up. I am still a little chagrined sometimes to reflect back and remember that to an early campaign meeting, I took several pages of my own personal notes about things that he could say about health care, only to have a more seasoned member of the campaign team take me aside and let me know he was already well-versed in this arena. Fortunately, he won that election, and for 12 years, he served as my state senator. The patients that he continued to see in his medical practice, including apparently many in this building, adored him. And despite a couple of close elections, including one nail-biter that kept us up all night, the constituents who were paying attention to his work adored him as well. You know, when you live 4 hours away from the Capitol, it can be very difficult to feel like you have any sense at all of what happens up here in Salem. But even from that distance, we knew that Bates was a stellar legislator on our behalf. We watched with pride as he worked to address foster care, to regulate suction dredge mining, to transform healthcare. In 25 years of work on our behalf with a single focus, he worked to transform healthcare with one single aim in mind. That was simply to provide access to healthcare. Millions of Oregonians have benefited from that work. And of course, you can't talk about Bates without noting his devotion to his wife and family. Last August, about a week before he died, I had an opportunity to meet with him, and we met at his physician's office and it was a Sunday night. Even when he wasn't in session, he saw patients on the weekends. And despite the fact that he'd probably already seen 40 or 50 patients during the day, he was exhilarated and enthusiastic. And we sat and we talked for more than an hour about his plans for the 2017 session and ways that I might be of service to him were I elected. In the middle of our conversation, his cell phone rang, and to my consternation, immediately put the caller, his beloved wife, Lori, on speakerphone without telling her he was doing so. So I listened to the conversation. She asked him when he might be home, and he apologized and said we were meeting together, but that he was anxious to be there soon. And she said, "No problem. I will be happy to see you when you get home. I love you." And of course he said, "I love you. I will be happy to be there." And listening, I thought, I should really be nicer to my husband. But I think that's the takeaway about Bates. You know, this is a man who was passionate about his patients, his colleagues, his practice, the legislature, his wife and family. In service to all of us, he held nothing back. That's the inspiration and the legacy of Doc Alan Bates. Colleagues, I would ask you to join me in support of the following resolution. Whereas Senator Alan Bates was born on March 17, 1945 in Seattle, Washington, to Curtis and Ruth Bates, and whereas Senator Alan Bates graduated from Everett High School in 1963, and whereas Senator Alan Bates served in the United States Army during the Vietnam War, and whereas in 1977, Senator Alan Bates graduated from the College of Osteopathic Medicine in Kansas City, Missouri, and whereas Alan Bates excelled in patient-centered care, maintaining a family medical practice in Southern Oregon for more than 30 years, and whereas Senator Alan Bates built relationships with generations of families and became a hero to strangers in need, and whereas, in addition to direct patient care, Senator Alan Bates served as the Chief of Medicine at Rogue Regional Medical Center and Providence Medical Center, as well as on the board of directors of Asante Physician Partners. And whereas Senator Alan Bates was a founder of Modern Healthcare in Oregon, serving on and chairing the Health Services Commission, where he developed the methodology for the Oregon Health Plan. And whereas in 2000, after 10 years on the Eagle Point School Board, Senator Alan Bates entered the Oregon House of Representatives, where he rescued the Oregon Health Plan by working across the aisle. And whereas in 2004, Senator Alan Bates was elected to the Oregon Senate, and whereas Senator Alan Bates was known for his role in creating the Oregon Health Authority and guiding Oregon's health system transformation, which is seen as the flagship model for the nation. And whereas Senator Alan Bates was a champion of the environment and worked tirelessly to ensure a healthy, livable planet for future generations. And Senator Alan Bates also worked hard to help working-class Oregonians across the state to prosper and thrive. And whereas all the while, Senator Alan Bates continued to serve first as a doctor, often serving as the Legislative Assembly's de facto physician, and always returning home to see his patients on the weekend. And whereas Senator Alan Bates' diagnostic skills saved the life of a fellow legislator in June 2015, when Senator Alan Olson suffered a heart attack at the Capitol. And whereas when Senator Olson declared, "This is the man that saved my life," Senator Bates downplayed his own role and gave the credit to others, claiming that he was just part of the team. And whereas throughout his life, Senator Alan Bates was a master fly fisherman, and whereas perhaps Senator Alan Bates' greatest love, aside from seeing patients, was teaching that art to close friends, children, and grandchildren. And whereas on August 5th, 2016, Senator Alan Bates died while doing what he loved, spending a day fly fishing on the Rogue River with his son. And whereas as a doctor, father, statesman, husband, fly fisherman, and friend, Senator Alan Bates improved the lives of millions of individuals. And whereas through his commitment to better health for all, Senator Alan Bates set the ultimate example of what a doctor who truly cares could do. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Legislative Assembly of the State of Oregon that we, the 79th Legislative Assembly, express our condolences to Senator Alan Bates' wife and family and express the deep sense of loss felt by the Legislative Assembly and the Capitol community, and be it further resolved that we honor and celebrate the remarkable life and achievements of Senator Alan Bates and express our sincere and abiding gratitude for his service to the Legislative Assembly and to all Oregonians.